Hey Xbox fans, Duncan here from Xbox Den with your weekly gaming update. We've got huge Call of Duty news, exciting Game Pass updates, a sneak peek at Indiana Jones, and well, some mixed news on Xbox hardware sales. But don't worry, there's plenty to get excited about with indie gems and new Game Pass drops ready to play. Let's get into it. Alright, kicking things off with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and let me tell you, this game is already making some serious waves. Microsoft just confirmed it's the biggest Call of Duty launch ever, with record-breaking day one players, and it's also bringing in a flood of new Game Pass subscribers. Having it on Game Pass got me jumping back in too, and I'm absolutely loving it. The Gulf War setting, the classic Black Ops feel, it's all here. If you're into that intense covert ops vibe, Black Ops 6 is where it's at. Now, even if you bought Black Ops 6 outright, you'll still need at least a Game Pass core subscription to play it online. Microsoft's betting on this to keep players in the Game Pass ecosystem, and their CFO, Amy Hood, expects it to keep pulling in revenue for a while. Basically, as long as we're all hooked on it, from where I'm sitting, they're not wrong. This strategy is paying off for Microsoft. Thanks to Black Ops 6 and other recent releases, Xbox content and services revenue shot up by 61% last quarter, a big win for them, and it could mean even more exciting releases hitting Game Pass on day one. Now let's talk Xbox hardware. Microsoft just released their Q1 2025 earnings report, and while the content and services side is thriving, hardware sales, not so much. Xbox hardware revenue is down 29% this quarter. It sounds rough, but it's actually part of Microsoft's bigger game plan, with Game Pass and cloud gaming letting us play more titles on PC, mobile, and even TVs. They're focusing less on console sales and more on keeping us engaged across devices. There's talk of big cloud upgrades coming soon too, potentially a boost in stream quality, and finally the option to stream games you actually own, not just what's on Game Pass. If that's true, it could be a major game changer, letting us jump into our library from almost anywhere. Microsoft's putting the focus on Game Pass and the cloud, aiming to make Xbox games accessible on just about any screen you've got. And it's not just about access, it's about bringing in games people actually want to play, and their next big hit could be just around the corner. Enter Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, an adventure hitting Xbox first this December. This one's got some serious hype around it, with early previews showing a true love letter to Indiana Jones fans. The Great Circle is set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, dropping us right in 1937 at the height of Indiana Jones's globe-trotting adventures. Early reviewers are calling it a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern gameplay, with all the archaeology, puzzle solving, and of course Nazi punching you'd expect. Machine Games, the folks behind Wolfenstein: The New Order, are leading this one, so the action's bound to be solid. But this isn't just another action game. The Great Circle leans heavily into investigation and exploration, making you feel like a real archaeologist. You'll be sneaking through historical settings like the Great Pyramid of Giza and Vatican City, all recreated with impressive detail. It's also got a first-person viewpoint that feels super immersive, as if you're really examining artifacts and piecing together clues. If you're a completionist, there's tons of side content, hidden paths, and even optional puzzles that'll keep you busy for around 30 hours if you're aiming to unlock everything. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle hits Xbox Series X, S and Windows on December 9th, and it'll be on Game Pass from day one. It's a timed exclusive, so PlayStation players will get their hands on it a bit later in 2025. While we're excited about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and could go on about it, let's move on to the rest of the game's news. While we're excited about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and could go on about it, let's shift our focus to the rest of the game news. The True Torment update for Blasphemous 2 has just launched, expanding the game by a massive 40% when combined with the new Mea Culpa expansion. This free update enhances areas like the Choir of Thorns and introduces new zones for quicker traversal, making exploration feel fresh. But the real highlight is the Mea Culpa Beta expansion. Awaken Penitent 1, your penance is far from over. Dive into new quests through the forgotten pathways of Civistodia, restore the Mea Culpa, the lost sword from the first game, and continue your journey with new bosses, quests, and an alternative ending, along with the fresh features from the True Torment update. As October comes to a close, it's time for the latest free play days titles, and Microsoft is bringing the Halloween vibes. This weekend you can enjoy 5 spooky games including Predator, Hunting Grounds, alongside Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Tom Clancy's The Division 2 with its Warlords of New York DLC. To join in, you'll need a subscription to Xbox Game Pass Core, Standard or Ultimate, which now all include online access. Enjoy these titles until late Sunday, November 3rd. Speaking of free games, the Monster Hunter Wilds Open Beta is live now and runs until November 3rd. Capcom has made it available for Xbox Series X and S, and you can preload it via the Xbox Store. It's just under 15 GB. In the beta, you can create your character, experience a story trial with the Chupacabra hunt, and take on the Doshauma pack. Plus, with crossplay support, you can team up with players across all platforms. Everyone who participates will earn a special pendant for the full game, launching on February 28th. It looks like Xbox's Perfect Dark Reboot is getting a fresh dose of talent. Brian Horton, the guy who helped make Wolverine cool over at Insomniac, has swapped his PlayStation badge for an Xbox One. Yep, he's now working on Perfect Dark with Crystal Dynamics. We still don't have a release date, but hey, at least it's nice to know they're adding some star power. Let's hope Joanna Dark can hunt down Daniel Carrington before we all retire. Age of Empires 4 is throwing a 3-year anniversary party, and guess what? They've announced a new DLC is coming in 2025. While we don't have any juicy details just yet, World's Edge did drop a video celebrating the game's journey so far. If you were eagerly awaiting the early access for Path of Exile 2 on November 15th, you'll need to hold your horses a bit longer. Grinding Gear Games has decided to push the launch back to December 6, 2024. Not the end of the world, but still a bummer for fans itching to dive into this free-to-play action RPG. Game director Jonathan Rogers called it really bad news and apologised for the inconvenience. Apparently they've hit some snags with server-side infrastructure that are taking longer to fix than expected, so they want to make sure everything is perfect before you get your hands on it. Nuketown is back. Activision just announced that the classic 1950s Nuketown map is returning as free DLC for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on November 1st. This remaster is an exact copy of the original, just with better graphics to make these chaotic gunfights look even prettier. Adam Hoggett, the map's designer, is excited for newcomers to experience the Nuketown magic for the first time, while veterans can bask in the nostalgia. And if that's not enough, Nuketown will also feature in the Warhead multiplayer map, along with the return of Infected mode. Metal Slug Tactics is coming to Game Pass on November 5th for Xbox One, Series X, S and PC. This game offers a fresh tactical twist on the beloved classic, featuring gorgeous pixel art and dynamic combat. This week on Xbox Game Pass, Ashen has returned, inviting you to dive back into its co-op action RPG where you can explore a sunless world filled with shadowy creatures and hidden challenges. And for those ready to slay some zombies, Dead Island 2 is also joining the lineup, letting you navigate the chaos of a zombie-infested Los Angeles. Alright, let's dive into this week's new releases. First up is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. This latest entry has made its debut and is earning a solid reception with a Metacritic score of 84. Set in the rich universe of Thetis, players follow a new hero navigating political intrigue and ancient threats. The game features engaging storylines and well-developed characters, serving as both a send-off and a soft reboot for the franchise. You'll explore a vast world filled with new regions and rich lore, while the refined combat system delivers smooth, dynamic gameplay. However, some reviews mention that the storytelling doesn't quite hit the nuanced heights of previous titles, and there are minor visual and audio glitches that take away from the polish. Overall, the Veilguard stands as a strong addition to the Dragon Age franchise, balancing nostalgia with fresh adventures. Next on the list is Life is Strange Double Exposure, and it's getting a mixed bag of reviews with a Metacritic score of 73. The game dives into themes of identity and loss, with IGN praising the narrative and characters, giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Players can use Max's time-bending abilities to tackle puzzles, which adds a nice twist. However, some critics felt the storytelling doesn't quite hit the high notes of previous entries. Double Exposure is a decent addition to the series, but it might not have that same magic we all remember. Let's talk about Phasmophobia, the cooperative multiplayer horror game from Kinetic Games that's been scaring the socks off players since its early access release in 2020. You and your squad take on the roles of paranormal investigators, exploring haunted locations armed with ghost hunting gear. You can team up with up to 4 players to gather evidence using tools like EMF readers, spirit boxes, and thermometers. Each ghost has unique quirks. You'll need to learn their behaviours if you want to survive. The game does a fantastic job of creating a chilling atmosphere with sound design and interactive environments that keep you on edge. Right now, the Xbox version is the only console edition that offers 120 FPS, so you can enjoy those jump scares in smooth clarity. It's a blast to play and has become a favourite among streamers and horror fans alike. We have Slime 3K, Rise Against Despot, a wild roguelite action game from Confa Games and Tiny Build. This one throws you into the bizarre world of Despot's game, where you control a sentient blob of goo fighting against an evil AI. The game features a deep deck building system that lets you unlock and upgrade all sorts of wacky cards to create wild weapons and traits. As you progress, enemies ramp up their strength, so you'll need to strategize to survive the relentless waves of foes, from mutants to cyborgs and even carnivorous tomatoes. Slime 3K has earned a very positive rating on Steam, with 85% of over 1,000 user reviews in the favourable range. If you're into action, strategy and a dash of absurdity, it's definitely worth a look. Lastly, we've got Redacted, a fast-action isometric roguelike set in the chaotic world of the Callisto Protocol. You play a shadowy agent trying to escape Black Iron Prison as it descends into madness. As one of the last guards, you'll face monsters, rival factions, and even the reanimated corpses of your former allies. The game features dynamic combat, procedurally generated levels, and plenty of ways to upgrade your gear. Critics are enjoying the gameplay, though some noted it could use a bit more variety. If you're looking for intense action with a horror twist, Redacted might be right up your alley. And that's a wrap for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Xbox It In. I'll catch you next time for more updates and game highlights. Until then, keep gaming and stay Xboxed in.